Sullivan believes, and I will present today, that there will be 6 mega trends that will drive the future of sustainability to 2020. 2 of them are mega trends. The first mega trend of them all is connectivity and convergence, which we believe is a fundamental enabling trend representing enabling technology that will undergird virtually everything that has to do with driving the sustainability agenda. The other mega trend of them all is health, wellness, and well-being. Health, wellness, and well-being is so crucial to the future of humanity. And it's a challenge that can be summarized in one sentence. How do we provide high-quality care to every patient globally in a sustainably affordable way? And this will impact every one of us, so that's crucial. So those are the 2 mega trends. So those are 2 of the 6. The other 4 that I will talk through will be urbanization, talking about smart cities, how we can be smarter in our development of cities. We have a mega trend called smart is the new green. Green was the big word up until the credit crisis. Smart has replaced green because the sustainability agenda now really has to make sure that it's also delivering strong ROI. And that will happen through smart technologies and the deployment of smart strategies. And then we look at the future of energy, which has to do with water, has to do with energy, has to do with food. It's all about the future of resources, how we will manage the closing gap between supply and demand, and how we will do that in a sustainably wise way. And then lastly, we'll look at the future of mobility and transport, which has a crucial element of sustainability to it, and actually one of the world leading sectors in terms of innovation. So those are the 6 megatrends that we believe are guiding the future of sustainability to 2020. Thank you.
वेलकम टू फोर्ट एनक्लेव माई कॉलोनी, जो कि अलीगढ़ मुस्लिम यूनिवर्सिटी से कुछ 2.5 किलोमीटर दूर रामगढ़ पंजीपुर के बीच में स्थित है। मेरा नाम आर्किटेक्ट फराज फारूक है और मैं अलीगढ़ मुस्लिम यूनिवर्सिटी के आर्किटेक्चर डिपार्टमेंट में असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर हूँ। हम कुछ 5 साल पहले यहाँ शिफ्ट हुए और यहाँ शिफ्ट होते ही बहुत सीवियर पावर शॉर्टेज की प्रॉब्लम से फेस हुए। मेरे ख्याल में ये प्रॉब्लम पावर शॉर्टेज की इज़ कॉमन टू द एंटायर कंट्री, और हमारे यहाँ ये ख़ास सीवियर है क्योंकि कुछ 6 से 8 घंटे के लिए ही हमें पावर सप्लाई आती है। हमारे पड़ोसी इदरीस साहब इस मोहल्ले के शायद पहले शख्स थे जिन्होंने कि कुछ 4 साल पहले अपने घर पे सोलर पैनल्स इंस्टॉल किए।
1 लाख रुपए का इन्वेस्टमेंट लोगों को बड़ा अजीब सा लगता है, तो हम उसकी इकोनॉमिक्स लोगों को समझाते हैं। फिर आपको जाड़ों में 1 किलोवाट का आपका सिस्टम 4-5 यूनिट दिन भर में दे देती है, लेकिन गर्मियों में 14 घंटे सूरज रहता है और पूरे साल में 5-6 यूनिट का भी औसत पर डे का ले 2000 यूनिट बिजली हमें साल भर में फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट मिलती है, जिसकी हमें बिल देना पड़ता है तो 7-8 हज़ार या 10,000 रुपये बिल हमें अगर देना पड़े। इसलिए एक बार 1 लाख इन्वेस्ट करने से एटलीस्ट 10,000 रुपये सालाना हमारा रिटर्न मिलता रहता है, और 10 साल में वो 1 लाख अपने आप रिटर्न हो जाता है। और बाकी हमारे पास सिस्टम की कोई एज नहीं है, आप अगर उसे प्रोटेक्ट करके रखें तो 20 साल 40 साल आपकी पूरी जितनी आपकी उम्र है उतना आपको सिस्टम साथ देता रहेगा। बस 3 या 4 साल में बैटरी आपको चेंज करना पड़ती है।
काफ़ी रिसर्च और मार्केट सर्वे के बाद मेरे फादर ने हमारे यहाँ ये 4 सोलर पैनल्स इंस्टॉल किए, विच पुट टुगेदर प्रोड्यूस अबाउट 600 वॉट्स ऑफ इलेक्ट्रिसिटी। अगर आप यहाँ देखें तो इस तरह से हमने सर्किट बनाया 24 वोल्ट का, जो कि थ्रू दीज वायर्स इन्वर्टर को 600 वॉट्स इलेक्ट्रिसिटी प्रोवाइड करता है। नाउ इन्वर्टर को चार्ज करने के कुछ एडवांटेजेस हैं। पहला एडवांटेज तो ये है दैट इवन व्हेन द सन गोज डाउन वी हैव अ कंटिन्यूअस सप्लाई ऑफ इलेक्ट्रिसिटी इवन एट नाइट। दूसरा फायदा ये है कि नाउ आवर मेन सोर्स ऑफ पावर इज सोलर पावर। यकीन जानिए कि फोर्ट एनक्लेव की 100-125 हाउस होल्ड्स में से अप्रॉक्सीमेटली 50% हाउस होल्ड्स ने सोलर पावर को अडॉप्ट किया है। हैरत की बात यह है कि इवन दो द गवर्नमेंट ऑफर्स अ सर्टेन सब्सिडी ओवर दिस, लेकिन फोर्ट एनक्लेव के किसी भी रेसिडेंट ने कभी ये सब्सिडी क्लेम नहीं करी। People have not done this for the subsidy, they've done it out of necessity, and necessity, as we know, is the mother of invention. And power shortage again is something which deeply impacts the quality of life of the people. लोगों का जनरली ये मानना होता है कि सोलर पावर इज समथिंग विच इज मेंट ओनली फॉर द रिच एंड द अपर क्लास, बट आई थिंक फोर्ट एनक्लेव के लोगों ने इफेक्टिवली ये प्रूव किया है कि ना ही कि सिर्फ सोलर पावर इज मेंट फॉर पीपल ऑफ द मिडिल क्लास, बट ये भी प्रूव किया है कि इट इज नॉट अ थिंग ऑफ द फ्यूचर, इट इज अ थिंग ऑफ द प्रेजेंट। आई होप कि हिंदुस्तान के बाकी लोग इस चीज़ को देखें, इस एग्जाम्पल को देखें, इससे इंस्पायर हों, इम्प्लीमेंट करें, सो दैट we can move towards a cleaner and a greener tomorrow.
Energy storage is really critical for the future of the energy industry. You could argue that the changes we've seen in the energy industry would not be possible without energy storage. If you have a home with solar panels, that can be very effective, but if you have energy storage along with it, that's even more effective. Then you can transfer some of that power that's generated during certain times to other times. Energy storage is not just critical to our energy industry right now, but it's also potentially very disruptive. We have a current energy plan in the world that revolves around a central generating facility that then radiates power out to its users. And this has been changing, and we're seeing more and more power being generated and stored at the use point, not just where the utility is generating the power, not just at the power plant. One of the biggest changes that energy storage is bringing to the industry is its ability to enable changes in business models and to allow utilities to fundamentally change their business model, to allow third parties to come in and create brand new business models, and also just to be able to provide industry and even consumers with a lot more choices on how they get the power that they use from day to day. You've got the case with electric vehicles and you have connected living, but now we also get into even more business models where you can start to talk about microgrids. So now you have a small area that has a microgrid, which is a grid that can be completely independent from the larger utility grid, and by definition needs to have both generation and storage. So you could have a university campus, a military base. Those are some of the first microgrids that we're seeing in actuality. Even a large industrial or commercial park could all be microgrids. A neighborhood could be a microgrid. And energy storage is enabling microgrids. It's also enabling something called virtual power plants. Instead of generating at the central level, you're generating not just at the distributed level for that user, but that distributed generation could be supplying back into the grid that now supplies a larger area. So now you have, in essence, deconstructed the power plant. Instead of having 250 megawatts being generated in one place, you have maybe 10 or 15 or 30 megawatts generated across the grid, and now creating a, quote, virtual power plant to help even out the cost, increase the efficiency, and improve the safety of the power grid. So you really need energy storage in a lot of these circumstances, because often that generation, that power that's being generated, is going to be renewable energy. Technologies and solutions, whether we're talking about solar energy or grid modernization, really deal with green technology, green energy, and better energy efficiency, which really means getting more out of what you currently have. Whether that means you don't need to build another power plant, or you just don't need to use as much electricity from the utility. Energy storage can help enable that. So not only is it a technical revolution, is it enabling new business models, it's also enabling a much more green future with a lower carbon footprint. Frost & Sullivan has been researching and consulting on energy storage markets for decades, for over 20 years, and I don't think we've seen a more exciting time in the market than what we have today. We now see energy storage affecting all aspects of life. Personal devices, to your vehicle, to your grid, to your business model. So I think this is a really exciting time in the industry, and we're really happy to be a part of it.
As the day begins, homes, offices, industries and farmers plug in various appliances. The demand for electricity steadily builds up. Later in the evening, as household lights and air conditioners are switched on, electricity demand starts growing further and reaches a peak. The demand for electricity goes up and down not just during the day. It can have a different pattern on weekends or on special occasions like festivals. Demand also varies according to seasons, weather conditions, geographic locations or lifestyles of people. In future, new technologies like electric vehicles may also change the pattern of demand. Or for that matter, even supply could vary if power is coming not just from conventional sources of energy, but also from renewable and intermittent sources like solar or wind. It is the duty of any power utility to meet the varying demand of its consumers at any instant of time. In case there is a gap, it must procure power from the market at additional cost, leading to higher tariff for consumers. Or if power is not readily available, it has to resort to load shedding. So then, how can a utility fulfill its responsibility of providing reliable and affordable power to its consumers? It can only do so through demand-side management or DSM, a concept which helps to better manage demand by either reducing electricity consumption or shifting it from peak to off-peak hours. DSM opportunities can be identified through comprehensive load research. This involves understanding the load curve of a utility, mainly its patterns of daily and seasonal variations of demand, and the behavior of different consumer categories, essentially drawn from a consumer survey to know which loads are contributing to peak demand. In a recent study done by TERI for MESCOM in 2017, a power utility in Karnataka, whose consumer mix comprises domestic, agriculture, industrial and commercial sectors, the load research revealed significant seasonal variation. Monsoon months showed the least demand, followed by winter. The summer months from March to May were peak months, primarily because of the domestic load and the agriculture load of the Rabi season. The study also revealed different consumer behaviors. For example, the consumer survey found out that most of the small and medium enterprises under MESCOM have enormous opportunities to replace energy-inefficient motors with efficient ones. In agriculture too, the users are small and marginal farmers, majority using more than 10-year-old pump sets. In some cases, motors had been rewound more than 3 times. Based on these insights, the demand-side management plan suggested a range of interventions. It encouraged industries to go for energy audits through a cluster-based approach, use energy-efficient motors, and explore the scope of demand response, meaning using IT-enabled services that allows industry to reduce consumption dynamically at the time of system peak and shift it to off-peak hours. For agriculture, the plan proposed promotion of energy-efficient pump sets and irrigation techniques and solar water pumping systems. In the domestic sector, the plan suggested wide adoption of energy-efficient air conditioners and LED lighting. MESCOM can now prioritize these interventions, seek regulatory approvals. The concept of demand-side management in India is not new, but even today, it is yet to pick up because of lack of proper metering and availability of digital records of granular data. However, demand-side management is a critical need of the hour, and indeed, it is a win-win for all. It saves utilities from purchasing expensive power to meet demand. The consumers do not have to suffer power cuts. The government can deliver its promise of 24/7 power, and manufacturers can have a ready market for energy-efficient appliances. But above all, by reducing the need to generate more power, that often comes from polluting fossil fuels, the big promise of demand-side management is a cleaner and safer environment for all.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome. Thank you so much for joining us for the 2020 edition of Frost & Sullivan, the Energy and Resources Institute Sustainability 4.0 Virtual Awards Ceremony. My name is Karan Kapoor and I shall be your host this evening. We have quite an interesting dynamic going on here. I am here in Pune completely decked up in this chocolate velvet blazer, while you could be anywhere in the country, comfortably seated in your homes, on your favorite couch with a drink in your hand, or you could be at your favorite restaurant enjoying a lip-smacking cuisine while you are taking a view of this new virtual awards ceremony. So once again, I want to thank everyone for being a part of this virtual experience for 2020 edition of Frost & Sullivan Sustainability 4.0 Awards Ceremony. Well, this year marks a landmark celebration as we celebrate 11 years of fostering the adoption of sustainability in India through the award program. What started in 2009 as a humble beginning to recognize green manufacturing practices has evolved over the years into a global framework of evaluation and recognition of companies that have adopted practices that personify the triple bottom line. The need for linkages between the organization's strategy, governance and financial performance and the social, environmental and the economic context within which it operates is more critical now than ever before. This award program is aimed at enabling businesses to take more logical and sustainable decisions that ensures long-term stakeholder value. And now, for you to enjoy this experience, let me tell you very clearly, for you to enjoy this experience in the best quality as you are watching on the YouTube, on the right hand side top corner, just click on the three dots and select the quality into 720 pixels or more. That's very, very important for you to enjoy this experience. Well, to start this evening, I would like to hand over this virtual floor to a personality who's much more smarter and much more younger than I am. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Amol Kotwal, the Vice President, Industrial Practice, South Asia, Frost & Sullivan, to deliver the welcome address.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Amol Kotwal from Frost & Sullivan, and I've joined in from Bangalore. Sullivan, my fellow colleagues at Frost & Sullivan, and in partnership with TERI, welcome everyone to the 11th edition of the Frost & Sullivan TERI Sustainability 4.0 Awards. Over the past decade, our Sustainability Award banquets have been loud affairs marked by much laughter and cheer, and as all the good award events go, with a lot of champagne. Alas, we cannot offer you any champagne tonight, nor can we honor you in person, as we would very much have liked to do it. But we can promise is a night of quiet celebration where we recognize and applaud the sterling achievements of our awardees. Each of tonight's awards has been successfully integrated environmental, social, and government risk into their business and investment decisions. Each has made tremendous contributions of time, money, and human intelligence to create long-term stakeholder value. They have promoted more meaningful community engagement and established industry-leading practices that are smart, safe, and sustainable. Each company or the winner has demonstrated admirable skill and purpose in using innovative practices and technologies in ways that are resilient and responsible. I don't think there is any doubt amongst any of us that sustainability is the key to understanding our future. Indeed, a representative of industry, the more pertinent question for me is how can we, as entrepreneurs and business entities, be competitive and profitable while simultaneously realizing socially, economically, and environmentally coherent practices? How can we create positive impact, not so much in terms of what we do with our profits, so much of how we do and make the sustainable common goal? Again, while there's no question that all of us, industry, government, institutions, civil society, are collectively responsible for supporting sustainable practices, I think industry has a particularly important role to play. Much like our awards today emphasize purpose, partnerships, planet, and people, I believe industry can lead from the front to partner purposefully and shape the future of the planet and its people. In developing countries like us, the private sector is a major contributor to the GDP, to the capital flows, and to employment generation. We have repeatedly seen companies who have embraced the values of sustainability gain a competitive edge and boost shareholder value. This is the clearest sign yet that the future success of businesses will hinge on following a philosophy of smart, safe sustainability. Today, there's a real business case for companies aligning their vision and practices with sustainability goals. It could be something as simple as the increasing consumer demand for environmentally friendly products and services, which has opened up new markets and growth opportunities. It could be the growing list of successful companies with clear social and environmental goals that are committed to inclusive business models, that are proactively engaging with the communities around them, that are responsibly sourcing and manufacturing commercially viable products and services. It could be in the increasing number of financial sector firms that are favoring responsible investments. But as I said earlier, sustainability is ultimately collective responsibility. Governments have an important role to play in creating an enabling regulatory and policy environment. Communities have a major role to play in highlighting concerns, fostering awareness, and compelling action. In this context, purposeful, results-driven partnerships between business, government, and communities will ensure steady gains and real progress. Today's award winners show us that we have much to be optimistic about in terms of using sustainable business practices to achieve the business imperatives of revenues and profits. Our award winners today are change makers. Their industry-leading performance and leadership will, we believe, accelerate change. They have truly shown how an abstract vision of sustainability can be translated into reality. They are the strongest advocates of how thoughtful decisions can promote resilient and responsible, collaborative and creative, inclusive and innovative growth. Once again, on behalf of Frost & Sullivan, our congratulations to all today's award winners, and it is our privilege to honor you along with you in the partnership of TERI for the best practices paradigms that you embody. We believe that your actions will be a template for others to emulate. Once again, welcome everybody and enjoy the evening. Thank you, and back to you, Karan.
Thank you so much, Mr. Amol. Well, moving on, our next dignitary for the evening is Dr. Ajay Mathur. Let me give you a quick introduction. Dr. Ajay Mathur is the Director General of the Energy and Resources Institute, New Delhi, and a member of the Indian Prime Minister's Council on the Climate Change. He earlier headed the Indian Bureau of Energy Efficiency and was responsible for mainstreaming energy efficiency through initiatives such as Star Labeling Program for appliances, the Energy Conservation Building Code, and Achieve and Trade Program for energy-intensive industries. Now, may I please request Dr. Ajay Mathur to deliver the keynote address, please. Over to you, Dr. Ajay Mathur.
Thank you, Karan. May I say how wonderful it is to be at this awards ceremony. It marks yet another milestone in the cooperation between Frost & Sullivan and TERI, something that we are very proud of. It also marks cooperation between Frost and Sullivan and TERI on the one hand, and the larger industrial ecosystem on the other hand, as we seek to enhance the sustainability in the industrial sector. And I would focus that on sustainability and insist that sustainability is not only important for tomorrow, it is important today. As we look at the MSCI India index, the MSCI ESG Leaders Index far outperforms the MSCI India Index, which captures the fact that being a leader in sustainability also means being a leader in business. Today, as we are looking at a post-COVID-19 situation where we are all emerging from an economic downturn, we need to see how we can do profits tomorrow together with a more sustainable future the day after tomorrow. So we need to dovetail short-term profits with longer-term sustainability. And consequently, I think our focus, your focus, our focus, is on those actions that can enable the marriage of this short-term sustainability with longer-term profits, or actually the other way around, short-term profits with longer-term sustainability. Now, one of the things that has emerged is that there are a large number of actions that we can do, that each one of us, whether we are NGOs, whether we are corporates, we can do to move towards this marriage of short-term profits and longer-term sustainability. Yesterday, together with 20 Indian CEOs, we released a call for action, a statement for businesses to prioritize actions that can, so that we can work alongside government, we can work alongside civil society to deliver a step change in sustainable growth while being profitable and successful ourselves. These look at repositioning and sometimes even relooking at the way we do business, because this is important. One of the things that COVID has done is taught us that the way we have done businesses in the past is over. We need to rethink what we are doing, why we are doing it, and for who we are doing it. The consumer has changed. We are already seeing in the market a greater emphasis on lowering of operating costs as a way of enhancing productivity, as a way of enhancing profits. This implies resource efficiency. This implies investments now in renewable energy. Now, renewable energy is important. It is important because on the one hand, it helps us and the world to meet its goals towards the Paris agreements, towards moving towards a sustainable future, so that our CO2 emissions fall below the limit that is necessary for us to remain below 1.5 degrees centigrade. This implies that each one of us needs to see how we can build renewables into our own future. Last year, we added something of the order of 1.3 gigawatts of renewable energy PPAs. This was the second in the world. We have also, during the COVID lockdown, reached a significant milestone. And the significant milestone is that through tenders, we have discovered that renewable electricity, round-the-clock renewable electricity, delivered 2 years from now, when the tender has to start delivering electricity, it would deliver round-the-clock electricity from renewables plus storage at a price which is less than, which is competitive with, price of electricity from coal. This is a big deal. In 2 years, for example, we will be getting electricity from renewables and solar and storage, which can help us, therefore, meet our goals. And the great advantage is you can set it up to any size you want. And therefore, we have complete control over it. We have autonomy over it. You can buy from the grid. You can set it up yourself. This completely changes the power dynamics of this country, pun intended. Now, Can we as a nation integrate this much amount of variable renewable energy into our grid? The answer is yes. You'll have to go to a variable renewable energy percentage of something in the order of 60% or 80% before the costs become very large. But right now, there is no problem. We can introduce it at no extra cost. Together with several other organizations in something called the Energy Transitions Commission, TERI looked at the issue of the integration of renewables into the grid. We see that by 2030, having 40, 42, 43% renewable electricity in the grid is not a problem. This will be significant because this implies that we will be able to move towards a future in which we are able to largely depend on renewables for our electricity needs. Now, this does not mean that there will not be changes. There will be changes. Integration implies that we will have to invest more, for example, in batteries than in power stations. So your first costs and your operating costs change. The operating costs become lower, the first costs become higher. But overall, the system cost to you and I is the same. This, I think, is an important issue because what it tells us is that the choices that we make tomorrow influence the kind of electricity that we will get the day after tomorrow. Now, obviously, in the shorter term, much of this flexibility will come, before batteries come in large measure. In the shorter term, this flexibility comes from coal power stations ramping on and off. This also implies cost. It will come from what are known as demand side measures that the electricity company tells us users, especially large users, that we would like you to reduce your demand by 10%. And it can very well say, if you reduce your demand by 10% in 10 minutes, we will give you a 10% reduction in the tariff. These kinds of measures have been tried out technically in India. They've been tried out commercially in other parts of the world. They've been tried out technically in India and they work. So I think the next step is you put them in so that with coal power station ramping up and down in the short term, with this demand side management in the medium term, and with batteries in the longer term, we can build in the kind of flexibility that is needed. Our grid provides the greatest protection there is. This is a large grid. Some people believe that it is the single largest fully interconnected grid in the world. But what this grid allows us, therefore, is a huge amount of transfer of energy from one part of the country to another. And this transfer allows us to be able to move renewable electricity from the places where it is generated to the places where it can be used. It is important, of course, that public policy supports this integration. It is important that public policy supports you and I in being part of that integration, whether it is through the demand side measures, whether it is through support for the renewables and batteries that we put on ourselves and interconnect it with the grid, whether it is support for third parties to be able to participate through as intermediates in buying and selling this electricity. The point I would like to leave you with is that right now we are looking at emerging from this double whammy of both an economic downturn and a public health downturn. We are also looking at a future which needs to be very different from the way we looked at a future day before yesterday. When you take these three things together, economic downturn, public health problems, and a future which is going to be very different, when you take these three things together, it is very clear that as we move towards inclusive growth, the kinds of choices that we make are those which enable, obviously, economic growth, but also enable job creation and they enable sustainable livelihoods. I think as companies, we need to be able to be comfortable in reaching all of these three goals of economic growth, of job creation, and of sustainable livelihoods if we want our social license to operate to continue. I would at this time again thank Frost and Sullivan for the very strong partnership that we have had over the years, again represented today, and for our ability to draw in the best of the best in these evenings. I congratulate the best of the best, the companies which are getting the awards, and the people who, through example, tell others that the change is not only thinkable, the change is doable. Thank you all very much. And Karan, back to you.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Mathur, for leaving us with this beautiful thought. Well, now it's my privilege and honor on behalf of the Executive Committee of the Sustainability 4.0 Awards to acknowledge the presence of the following thought leaders, industry luminaries, and leaders in their respective spheres. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me as I welcome our dignitaries. Mr. Ajay Shankar, Ms. Anita Arjundas, Mr. Atul Bagai, Mr. Manoj Jain, Mr. Nandakumar Kulkarni, Mr. Oscar Quintero, Mr. P.N. Changani, Mr. Raj K. Tiwari, Mr. Rakesh Agarwal, Professor Rangan Banerjee, Mr. Shilip Kumar, Mr. Simon Stock, Ms. Shloka Nath, Ms. Suchita Oswal Jain, Ms. Vidya Srinivasan. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I welcome you to this beautiful virtual platform. Alright, so moving ahead, let's gain some more insight on the methodology of the awards that Frost & Sullivan conducts. For this, may I now please call upon Mr. Amol Kotwal, the Vice President, Industrial Practice, South Asia, Frost & Sullivan. Once again, over to you, Mr. Amol.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Amol Kotwal from Frost & Sullivan, and I've joined in from Bangalore. On behalf of Frost & Sullivan and TERI, it is my privilege to extend you all a very warm welcome. I will be walking you through the Sustainability 4.0 Awards program, the evaluation model, and the methodology that we use as a part of the overall assessment. Next slide, please. The key highlight of the Sustainability 4.0 Awards is focusing on sustainable development of business. What started as an objective to assess how manufacturing companies are adopting sustainable and green practices in their production processes. Over the years, the model has been modified to include various aspects related to economic, environment, and social sustainability. Today, the model has evolved and it has 13 parameters, which I will be covering in the later part of my presentation. Interestingly, as a part of this evolving journey, in 2015-16, we found that service sector companies were also deploying sustainable green practices in their operations, and that is when the program was opened up for the service sector entities beside the manufacturing enterprises as well. This clearly indicates the increasing focus and prominence on sustainable development by companies both in the manufacturing and service sector. Next slide, please. From a mission perspective, we started this with a mission that we wanted to enable the industry to adopt sustainable manufacturing practices, and we also found that TERI was spearheading this vision from their end. But naturally, there was a mutually conducive and beneficial partnership for the industry, and we joined hands with TERI in 2016. Since then, we, along with TERI, Frost & Sullivan, we have been hosting this program on an annual basis as joint partners. Over the years, we have added new benchmarks of measurement to measure sustainable practices that companies have adopted in their organization, and companies who are excelling on these benchmarks are recognized and rewarded, further pushing the agenda for sustainable development across the industry. Next slide, please. Coming to the program participation perspective, there's a fair diversity in the industry sectors from which companies participate. We have automotive and ancillaries, we have capital goods, textiles, oil and gas, chemicals, and ITITS from the and ITITS BFSI from the service sector. This essentially highlights how companies cutting across multiple industries and verticals. They are quite excited to be a part of this program, and they are keen to undergo this assessment process to identify where do they stand on the sustainability development. From a business and a turnover perspective, 70% of the applicants are from the large and mega large companies put together, who typically are at the forefront of adopting these initiatives, implying that they are taking these initiatives very seriously, which is a good sign and important for the nation. The balance 30% of the companies, which are typically the ones in the emerging and medium-sized segment, this implies these companies are also recognizing sustainability and are cognizant of this initiative. The growing participation from the emerging and medium business segment, which currently the participant share is 30%. Couple of years back, the share was even less than 10%. And now, with the base of participation also expanding, this clearly implies even companies in this segment of emerging and medium business segment are taking sustainability very more seriously and as a business prerogative. From an awards application and companies who get qualified, what we see that there are more than 60% of the companies who have an integrated approach to sustainability, and they are taking aggressive steps and they're setting the pace for others to follow. The key point to note over here is the bucket of the companies who do not get qualified as part of this assessment program. Initially, when we started this program a couple of years back, the rate or the share of companies who were not getting qualified was 20%. As we see this year from the graph, this year the share of companies who could not qualify is only 13%. This essentially signifies that more and more companies are keen to get a part of the sustainability development. Besides that, they are getting better and they are progressing on the sustainability dimension, which is a very, very healthy indicator. Next slide, please. I'll give a quick snapshot of the Hall of Fame of the companies who are participating. So, for example, if you look at the oil and gas space, we have companies like Hindustan Petroleum, Indian Oil, GAIL, etc. From the food processing sector, we have companies like Coca-Cola and Amul. Moving on to the next slide, we look at the healthcare sector. We have companies like Zydus, Sanofi, Abbott, etc. Very keen on participating. The key point that I would like to highlight over here is, irrespective of which the industry segment is, companies are taking the sustainability aspect very important and they are making initiatives to ensure that the organizations are progressing in sustainable development. Next slide. From an overall assessment approach, the assessment evaluates the initiatives which the companies have adopted. And besides that, even the outcomes of these initiatives, which helps the companies towards creating a sustainable business enterprise. Overall, from that, what we're trying to highlight, this is a very holistic approach which takes into account the initiatives and the outcomes of these initiatives. Next slide. A quick snapshot of the assessment model and the process. The entire evaluation model is built on a scale of 1200 points, which comprises of 4 key parameters: planet, partnership, purpose, and people. These 4 parameters comprise of 13 pillars, which are further subsegmented into 125 points of assessment. And ultimately, these 125 points of assessment is what the assessment team looks at when they conduct site visits. They interact with the stakeholders, make some observations, and do the scoring in the model. Interestingly, it has been proven over the years, this model is acknowledged as one of the most objective and numeric benchmark, which is comparable to other industries as well. Next slide, please. To give you a perspective of the sub-pillars within each parameter, let's look at what are the components of the purpose parameter. It comprises of business strategy, governance and ethics, and risk management. Under business strategy, we'll be talking about how the strategy of sustainability is defined and aligned. Is it drilled down across all levels within the organization? Does the performance measurement system in the organization have elements of sustainability embedded in it? Are they looking at adopting the triple bottom line approach? Within the governance systems, the focus is on transparency, accountability, whether the company is complying to the rules of the law, and various policies that have been framed, whether they define the value system in the organization. Under risk management, we talk about the existing and planning for the future risks which are associated with the business, social, and environmental side of affairs within the organization. Next slide. Under the partnership parameter, we have four pillars: society, stakeholder management, customers, and supply chain. I will highlight only two key things over here: the supply chain and society. The focus over here is whether the company is deploying sustainable practices in all their dealings with their partners, be it supply chain, vendors, retailers, etc., so on and so forth. From a customer perspective, the idea is to look at whether there's a product sustainability that goes from a development perspective as well. From a society pillar, the focus is on whether the company is adopting CSR activities for community development and sustainable livelihood. Next slide, please. The third parameter is planet, where the focus is on input and output, where the key pillars that we focus on from an input perspective is the resources that the company is leveraging or utilizing as a part of their overall production process, and the raw materials as well. And the output is where we are assessing and identifying what level and what amount of waste that is generated. This waste could be either in form of emissions, effluents, and solid waste. So overall, we are looking at the input and output of the entire production process or part of their operation. Most importantly is, probably I missed out, is biodiversity, where we are capturing what the impact the site or the plant where it is located, it has on its surrounding areas, and whether the company is deploying projects and initiatives that have been taken to maintain biodiversity. Next slide, the people parameter. I'll just summarize one or two key points over here. The focus is on whether the company has deployed safety management systems, occupational health initiatives to ensure that there's a healthy lifestyle index for its employees. Next slide. What you see over here is a summary slide capturing all the components and pillars of each parameter of assessment. The model is based on a weighted average score, and each pillar is assigned a specific weightage based on its criticality. Next slide. To give you all a perspective of the operational elements of the model, this model is built over 125 checkpoints, and each checkpoint is graded over a maturity scale to bring in the objectivity of the assessment. What you see over here is an excerpt from the macro of the evaluation model that is used on site. The assessors choose the option based on their observation during their site assessment, their discussions with the participating companies, their observations, so on and so forth. The gradings are well defined, and evidences are verified to ensure that the checkpoints are clearly graded. This entire overall approach gives a clear idea where the company stands, and it also helps us and the assessment team to give or share feedback in terms of improvement areas and how the participating companies can improve their trends from a sustainability perspective. The way this 125 checkpoints are structured, many of these checkpoints are interrelated. For example, one parameter is higher, the other needs to be higher, and in some cases, if one is high, the other needs to be low. This interrelation or interlinking ensures that there are sufficient checks and balances inbuilt into the model for a robust and a holistic assessment. Most important to note is unless each checkpoint is selected, the scoring is not completed and the assessment process gets completed only once the entire scoring is done. Next slide, please. What you see over here is just an excerpt or an outcome of the scoring for each of the pillars. So what you see over here, the gray bar is essentially the score on each of the respective parameters that the site has been rated on, and the green ones are the overall scale, the points for each of the parameters. Next slide, please. Based on the summation and consolidation of all the scores, the facility score is arrived at, and it is then modeled with the benchmark criteria, or I would say the benchmark band that they fall into. And this also helps us to give the company specific feedback. Next slide, please. From a participation perspective, the companies are bucketed into four categories, which is emerging businesses, medium business, large, and mega large. This classification is purely based on the sales turnover of the participating company. So, for example, an emerging business is the one with having a turnover less than or up to 100 crores, whereas companies with a turnover more than 2,000 crores are classified in the mega large categories. Next slide, please. Based on the criteria of evaluation, there are three levels of recognition, and these are predefined based on the qualifying score specifically. These levels of recognition are essentially the believers category, the challengers category, and the leaders category. Next slide, please. The scoring and grading is basically in terms of all companies as part of the overall assessment score with a overall threshold score beyond 725 but up to 800 are categorized in the believers category. Companies with an overall assessment score the minimum threshold of 800 and above and running up to 875 are challengers, and leaders are the one who have an overall score of more than 875 points. The companies qualifying in the challenger and leaders category are recognized with their respective awards, whereas only for there is a certificate of merit only for the believers category. Next slide, please. The quick point on the Jury Special Mention Award. While we believe and encourage companies to grow and set benchmarks in the industry for sustainability, over the years we have noticed that there are pockets of brilliance within the companies, irrespective of whether they win the award or not. We believe that these pockets of brilliance need to be recognized, applauded, and celebrated. That was the premise based on which the GSMA award was instituted. As part of the GSMA, the jury picks specific programs which are scalable and replicable across industry verticals so that these can be adopted in the industry and grow. This is also linking back to the mission of this program where we want the country to progressively grow on the sustainability path. Later on, after my session, Pooja Kumar from the TERI team is going to share more details and capture the methodology for the GSMA awards. Next slide, the safety excellence assessments. This is an element or a module added module we have as a part of the oral assessment exercise, which the participating companies can opt for. Under the safety excellence assessment, there are 5 pillars: safety management, process safety, equipment safety, behavioral safety, and occupational health. This assessment gives a very incisive and actionable feedback to the companies for making their places, plant, or locations much more safer. Next slide. Getting into the operational elements of how the program flows and the key milestone. This is a 6-step process that typically has been used over the last couple of years. And next slide. While this year has been very unique because across the globe we were hit by the COVID pandemic, and the COVID pandemic did have an impact on the timelines of the overall assessment cycle. However, to ensure that the complete objectivity is maintained, the process is involves all the details, etc. What we ensured, there were 2 new steps that were involved in the overall assessment process. The ones that you see in red on the right hand side, post the applications that the companies helped us with. What we did, the team did offsite interaction specifically for those companies which could not be visited during the COVID times. The assessment team did various rounds of discussions with the stakeholders. They did video conference calls. There was virtual tours. Besides that, to build in the objectivity and ensure that the evidence and the inputs that are provided are, robust. The participating companies were also requested to share documentary evidence, data, etc. And what was more important was this approach was adopted to ensure that the overall assessment's sanctity, the incisiveness, and the rigor was maintained without impacting the overall results. It is good. We are also happy to note that many of the participating companies did share the feedback with us that they were quite impressed with the approach that we had adopted, and more importantly is they were very collaborative and participative, and they did cooperate with sharing all the relevant details required as a part of the overall assessment program. Next slide, please. I would like to take the opportunity to thank a vote of thanks for the assessment team, which comprise of sustainability experts from the Frost & Sullivan team, the subject matter experts from TERI, and on case-to-case basis, the industry experts and independent consultants that we have used as part of the overall assessment program. A special note of thanks to the industry expert panel, which comprised of Mr. Santosh Gupta, Mr. Shantanu Roy, and Mr. Devendra Kumar Singh. Next slide, please. With that, I would like to end my session. Thank you very much for being patient and have a good evening. Thank you.
Quite an insight, of course, I have to say. Well, you know what? I am believing that you guys are enjoying this grand presentation. And on this note, I need you to put your hands together and make some noise. Well, that makes me already pretend that I'm hearing you cheer. Well, I know that. I can't see you, but you can see me. But for you to enjoy this video even better, what you can do is, to the right hand side top, there are 3 dots. Just click on that dot and you will have an option to ensure that you have the best of the resolution. So select 720p and above to have one of the best experiences. And how are you feeling about this entire experience? What you can do is you can have your comments mentioned so that entire cycle of interaction with each other is absolutely live, and I am enjoying you as well. Well, now since I have your attention, let's set the balls rolling with the recognition. Well, first up is the Safety Excellence Awards segment. Safety is one of the most important aspects for any organization to become sustainable. Over the years, organizations have realized how safety can play a crucial role in driving growth as they continue to establish a best-in-class safety system within the organization. Safety Excellence Assessments were started in 2014 under the aegis of Sustainability 4.0 Award to bring additional focus on safety practices deployed in an organization. The Frost & Sullivan Safety Excellence Award framework has been designed in such a way that it delivers one of the best experiences. Alright, first up, just give me... Alright, here we are. Now we commence with the announcement of the Safety Security Certificate of Merit for Safety Excellence. The companies that have qualified for the Certificate of Merit for Safety Excellence are Foratia Interior Systems India Private Limited, Chakan. Second in the row, we have Jhajjar Power Limited, Jhajjar. Well, third in the row, we have Numaligarh Refinery Limited, Assam. Last but not the least, we have Utkal Alumina International Limited, Rayagada. We wish all these companies all the very best for their efforts towards building a safer workplace. Alright, so moving on to the first set of awards for this beautiful evening, the Safety Excellence Awards. We have 2 awards in this category. Let's move on to the Safety Excellence First Runner-Up Award. Let me tell you more about the company. Behavior-based safety systems have been implemented across the hierarchy in the manufacturing plant. Safety is the line function and a culture here. The Safety Excellence Award First Runner-Up goes to Pantnagar Metal Plant, Hindustan Zinc Limited. Well, we have Mr. Himanshu Chabra, the operations head, Pantnagar Metal Plant, who shall acknowledge the award with their acceptance later in the evening. And congratulations once again to Pantnagar Metal Plant for Hindustan Zinc Limited. Superb. All right. Well, next up, this company with safety first as the motto has established the Safety Innovation School to create positive safety culture within the organization. Despite employing over 5,000 contractual workforce at the site, there have been no reportable accidents in the plant consistently for over 1,300 working days. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for our winner of the Safety Excellence Award. L&T Hydrocarbon Engineering Limited Modular Fabrication Facility, Hazira. Well, we have Mr. Anil, the head MFF Hazira, to acknowledge the award. Over to you, Mr. Anil.
Good evening, jury, Frost & Sullivan team, and Indian industry delegates. It's a great privilege and honor for me to receive the Safety Excellence Award for the second consecutive year on behalf of my strong team of 6,000 personnel. We are very thankful to the jury for selecting us for this prestigious award. We are an EPC company in oil and gas exploration and refining sector, where we design, fabricate and commission the plant. The construction part is very labor intensive, which is handled at my works. We value safety as our core function and focus hard on safe operations to achieve zero incident. I am very happy to share clocking of 50 million LTI safe man hours at my plant, and a big compliment to my team. We acknowledge the whole process adopted by Frost & Sullivan is very professional, well researched and with a comprehensive framework which covers various dimensions of process and provides an excellent opportunity for industry to excel. We treasure that audit findings and build upon them to strengthen our process. A very big thank you to FNS team. Congratulations to all the winners. Wishing great success to all during this challenging year and looking forward for taking Indian economy to new heights. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you.
Well, congratulations to L&T Hydrocarbon Engineering Limited Modular Fabrication Facility, and thank you so much, Mr. Anil. Thank you so very much. Once again, congratulations to all Safety Excellence Award winners. Ladies and gentlemen, moving on in our continuous effort to promote adoption of sustainable practices, second year in the succession, we have the award category that is aimed at recognizing specific programs undertaken by organizations that have resulted in environmental protection, social well-being and social prosperity within the organization's operations. Well, to share some insights, the jury special mention award category, may I please invite Ms. Pooja Kumar, fellow TERI Council of Business Sustainability, on screen, please. Over to you, Ms. Pooja.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Pooja Kumar from TERI, the Energy and Resources Institute, and I will be talking to you about the jury special mention award category, its assessment process and the methodology. Now, our partnership with Frost & Sullivan clearly illustrates that businesses are internalizing the new paradigms of sustainability for success in the market. This is also key to ensuring a sustainable future for India. A medium risk assessment for any business requires the factoring in of sustainability scenarios and implications for that business. Businesses are not just focusing on own actions, but looking at their entire value chain while balancing their economic, environmental and social performance in order to create long-term stakeholder value and growing business profitability over the long run. Taking us back from the realm of what you do with the profits made, businesses are increasingly focusing on the basic question of how you make your profits. Businesses are slowly and steadily moving towards business models that are focused on the 4 P's of sustainability: purpose, people, planet, and profit. In this context, the jury panel of the FNS TERI Sustainability Awards 2020 edition evaluated programs of Indian businesses. Now, a program is defined as a strategically identified intervention or initiative aimed at achieving its goals and objectives within a specified time frame, sequence, and budget. Such interventions or initiatives, identified through an inclusive and comprehensive planning process, results in environmental protection, social well-being, and/or economic prosperity within the organization's operations and in the community, thereby fulfilling the organization's commitment towards sustainable development. A program may comprise investment or infrastructure development initiatives, reform or non-investment initiatives, or both. It is with this context that FNS and TERI introduced the Jury Special Mention Award category in the year 2019 in order to recognize innovative practices that are scalable and replicable across industry verticals. Now, the idea behind this entire the purpose of introducing the awards was also that the organization may not be high on maturity with respect to the Sustainability 4.0 model, but they might be doing exemplary work on sustainability through such initiatives and innovative practices. And this is where the Jury Special Mention Award comes into the picture. Basis the context of sustainability There were four evaluative parameters which were looked into for evaluating each of the program entries nominated by the participating organizations. The four parameters included the design, the sustainability relevance, scalability and replicability, and of course additionality. Basis these evaluative parameters, the jury selected best three programs, voted for best three programs to receive the Jury Special Mention Award at the awards banquet being held today. Coming on to the evaluation process. The evaluation process typically comprises of three basic steps, wherein we are looking at first and foremost the assessment team and the applicant, wherein company provides an application, nominates their programs, a maximum of two programs being eligible for being nominated each time by a participating organization. The assessment team checks the documentation and interacts with the relevant teams for select programs during on-site and virtual assessments. The next stage is wherein the FNS and TERI core team comes into the picture, which evaluates each of these programs on the four evaluation parameters that I've mentioned earlier. Each of these programs are scored on a total of 50 points, and deliberations are done to aggregate and normalize the score for each of these programs by this core group. This is the scoring. The top 9 scoring programs were shortlisted, which were then to be presented to the jury. Coming to the third stage, wherein the jury members come into the picture. Now here TERI and Frost & Sullivan act more of facilitators in the process, wherein the Jury Special Mention Award enables each of the participating companies to directly present their programs to the jury members and interact with them so that they can better present their programs. Based on the presentations made by the company representatives, the jury deliberates on the programs and decides on the best 3 programs to be awarded at this banquet. Coming to the Frost & Sullivan and TERI core group, the part of wherein they were evaluating the programs, there were a total of 25 entries which were received this year, representing the FMCG sector, chemical sector, metals and mining, oil and gas, textiles, pharmaceuticals, environmental services, and so on. Out of which, basis the 4 evaluation parameters, a total of 9 entries were shortlisted to be presented to the jury. The jury deliberated on shortlisted programs basis the predefined parameters and checkpoints which we've talked about, as well as the presentations made by the company representatives during their interaction at the jury meeting. The jury also provided geopolitical and legal insight and perspectives on the shortlisted programs and identified and voted for best 3 programs that are innovative, scalable, and replicable across industry verticals. Coming on to the evaluation parameters and the key checkpoints that were broadly looked into by the jury, as well as the FNS and TERI core group for evaluation of each of these programs. This included, under the design parameter, it included the objective of the program or the focus of the program, the context or driving force behind the program, the role of senior management and their involvement in the program design, development and implementation, the monitoring and review mechanism in place, the stakeholder involvement, the input cost versus the demonstrated benefits also. In terms of sustainability relevance, linkages were drawn between companies' materiality map or sustainability strategy and the program as to how the program is evolving from the company's sustainability strategy, how the organization is communicating with the stakeholders, and most importantly, what is the follow-up action on the feedback received by the company on the program from the stakeholders. Apart from this, risks and challenges to the programs and mitigation measures were also looked into, whether the organization has been able to identify those and to what extent, and what are the mitigation measures being taken up by the organization. And in the process, there are times when there are new business opportunities which arise out of the implementation of the program. So we also evaluated whether there were any business opportunities identified by the program. Coming to the scalability and replicability part of it, we try to understand the process of program implementation. The jury tried to understand what are the impacts and outcomes of the program. What were the success factors that contributed to the successful implementation of the program? What were the challenges encountered in the implementation or the envisioned outcomes of the program? The measures taken by the organization to ensure the sustainability of the program. Coming to the last one, additionality, of course, wherein we are looking at to what extent the organization is going beyond business. We try to understand the uniqueness or the innovativeness of the program in the context of geographical location and local priorities where the program is being implemented or where the organization is operating, the alignment of the program with the stakeholders as well as the business objectives, and a comparison or benchmarking of the organization's performance vis-a-vis the existing or ongoing initiatives in India and internationally. So these were the 4 parameters which were looked into and the key checkpoints that were looked into for evaluating the 9 shortlisted program entries by the jury and the other ones as well. And this is how, basis which there were 3 program entries which have been which are going to be awarded today at the awards banquet. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Pooja. Thank you so very much. All right, next up, let's hear from the chairperson, JSMA Jury, on his special remarks. It is my privilege to kindly introduce Mr. Ajay Shankar, who's a distinguished fellow at TERI. He has rich and extensive experience in public service for over 40 years as a member of the Indian Administrative Service. He has served in the Government of India in a key policy-making positions in the areas of industry and energy. I would now request Mr. Ajay Shankar for his special remarks. Over to you, Mr. Ajay Shankar.
I would like to begin by acknowledging the privilege that what I've been a part of this jury process for a few years. And what strikes me is the remarkable transition that is taking place within corporate India in terms of capabilities, in terms of perspectives, in terms of ambition, and in terms of the ability to innovate and attempt big things. So it's been quite a heartening experience seeing all that has been attempted and all that is being done. I would also like to take this opportunity to express appreciation to all those who participated and those who have succeeded and won. I would also like to thank my fellow jury members. Now, trying to put things in a little perspective, I would like to bring to your consideration the following dimensions. We are all talking of the challenge from climate change and the immense threat that it poses. Now, we in India have another huge challenge which we are not adequately recognizing, but which in my view and the view of some friends is the iceberg which the Titanic is about to hit, and that is water. If we take a larger global perspective, then what we have done to our oceans is terrible. And there is a whole international effort to have some convention on cleaning up the oceans, but that is going to be an impossible, almost impossible task, a very challenging task. I remember being on the eastern coast of one of the beautiful islands of Andaman Nicobar, uninhabited, beautiful sands. But on the eastern side, it was full of muck, from bathroom chappals to cans and so on and so forth, which the tides have left on the coast shores. If we look at what we are doing to our soils in this country, again, it's a huge, huge challenge. We really don't know what we've done to the soil cover of the country, and we really don't have a clear roadmap on how we would set it right. We are focused on plastics right now, but I think the challenge is much bigger than plastics. So if we look at the planet as a whole, or where the Industrial Revolution has brought us till now, we have enormous successes in terms of consumption, in terms of production, in terms of efficiency, in terms of reducing costs. So that gives us great advantages and potential and confidence. But if we look forward, then clearly going beyond carbon emissions or global warming, going beyond water, we need to actually now have a roadmap of how in the coming decades we will move towards a truly circular economy, which recognizes the planetary boundaries, and the boundaries both in what we can take from the planet for consumption and we could put back on the planet by way of waste or what we've consumed. And in both, we need sustainability and a full virtuous cycle. The fact is that if we look at the imminent challenge of carbon emissions and global warming, within the last 10 years, the change in terms of technology and potentials has been quite phenomenal. Look at India. When we began our solar mission, the price of electricity from 1 unit of solar was 17 rupees plus. Today, as Dr. Mathur pointed out, that in the last few months, we've made price discovery where it is cheaper or competitive with fossil fuels around the clock. Now, this huge breakthrough in technology gives private firms and consumers the option of becoming fully green and using only renewable sources of energy because it's almost competitive or there's a mild extra cost. So we can have a national goal in terms of a competition amongst Indian firms as to how quickly they can say they are carbon positive. Many firms are already carbon positive. So we can have a social kind of movement, peer pressure within corporate India that we become carbon positive. We can attempt the same thing with being water positive, that we fully treat our water, and if necessary, do some rainwater harvesting here and there in the rural areas of India and become water positive. These are, in my view, now achievable goals. And for many firms where costs of energy are not the major portion of their costs of production, I think it's something which they can aim at achieving in 5 to 10 years. And if we look at how quickly the global discourse has moved over the last just 2-3 years, UK and France already say that they would be net carbon neutral by 2050. The EU is about to arrive at that consensus. If I recall the Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden's acceptance speech, he spoke of 4 challenges before America. And the 4th one was music to the ears of many of us because he said climate change is the 4th major challenge America faces. And he's saying that in 15 years, they would try to make all electricity production free of fossil fuels. So we are at the cusp of great changes. We are at an inflection point. And if we use technology, if we use our capacity for innovation, we have ambition, then I think Indian firms can choose to be on the global frontier. Because corporate India and industrial India has one advantage, and that is that we are not locked into investments which are huge and where the sunk costs are very high. Then, therefore, transition poses a challenge. The fact is that if you look at electricity, our per capita consumption has to go up to 4 or 5 times in the coming decades. If we look at all sectors of industrial production, we have to triple, quadruple the quantities of production of today. So when we are making new investments, it is so much easier to choose investments which take us in the path of being green, being resource efficient, and being moving towards a circular economy. So to give some flavor of how I see the cost dynamics working, today energy efficiency investments in any enterprise have a very good payback period. Now, larger firms are market leaders not only in terms of shaping the market for what is produced, but also shaping the market for what is consumed. So it is very easy for them to try and shift the trajectory towards the use of sustainable materials, to use of recyclable materials, to cut down the costs of moving towards resource use efficiency and a circular mode of production. And the technological potential here is enormous. Similarly, if something which is not cost effective today, if a large firm or even a small firm works on it, will become very cost effective in the years to come. And finally, someday regulations may come, and when they come, we are well positioned to cope with that regulation without going under or without facing a huge cost disadvantage at that point of time. And the ecosystem in India for innovation, for R&D is very conducive. In fact, in terms of startups, many have said that India today is the second best place after the Silicon Valley. Now, maybe there's a bit of nationalism there, but certainly it cannot be denied that we do have a very fertile ecosystem of talented young people who can do just wonderful things if given the right problems and the right challenges. So my hope is that all of us together, especially industry participants, will identify the problems, the technological challenges, and motivate our younger people in institutions, in startups to produce breakthroughs so that India as a nation gets onto the global frontier in moving towards a sustainable, resource use efficient, and a circular economy. Left to myself, I would certainly like to get a conversation going that why can't we look at 2047, 100 years of our independence, as a country where we will see whether we can aim at becoming net carbon neutral. I mean, I'm inclined to believe that we can do it if we set our hearts and minds to it. So I think a little more ambition, a little more confidence, and a little more energy, and we can certainly be on the global frontiers in moving towards a sustainable, circular economy on all fronts. And at the end, again, I would like to appreciate the leadership being provided by Frost & Sullivan and TERI in this joint effort in shaping, I think, the consciousness of our industry leaders and industry participants in the desirable direction. So these words, I would like to thank all of you. And again, greet all the winners and also greet those who tried and did a very good job of trying. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Ajay Shankar, for your valuable insights. Well, moving on to the Jury Special Mention Award winners. We have 3 awards in this category. The second runner-up award in the Jury Special Mention Award category goes to Century Pulp and Paper, Lalkua, for their progressive work on optimization at power plant. Century Pulp and Paper optimization at power plant through cogeneration cycle efficiency improvement is a unique example of engineering innovation that has led to lower fuel and auxiliary power consumption. This also translates to reduction in GHG emissions. Once again, congratulations to Century Pulp and Paper team. Well, climbing up the ladder, our first runner-up in the Jury Special Mention Award category goes to Vedanta Limited, Cairn Oil and Gas Division, Barmer. for their program on recycling of produced water for injection purpose. Well, Vedanta Limited Cane Oil and Gas Division has achieved a remarkable technological and engineering feat of recycling more than 98.7% of produced water in the financial year 2019-20, a rate higher than International Association of Oil and Gas Producers global benchmark of 86% and 50% benchmark for onshore operations in the Asian regions. Once again, congratulations for Cane Oil and Gas Division Barmer team. Superb. All right. Moving on to the next award, adjudged best in the segment, the company's integrated water saving initiatives in 3 focus areas, namely water generation, water supply, and water consumption in the fabric processing and waste water treatment. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the winner of the Jury Special Mention Award 2020. Vardhaman Fabrics, a unit of Vardhaman Textile Limited's Budni, for their water saving initiatives. Well, congratulations Vardhaman Fabric Budni team for wonderful efforts. We now move on to the main awards of the evening and shall start with the Certificate of Merit in the Believers category, followed by the Certificate of Merit in the Challengers category. We have one company in the Believers category. Well, the Certificate of Merit in the Believers category goes to Ramki Enviro Engineers Limited, Hyderabad plant. Congratulations to the team. We wish them all the very best in the sustainability journey. Moving over to the next Certificate of Merit under Challengers category. This year, we are recognizing 4 companies in this category. All the companies in this category have closely competed for the award and missed it very narrowly. We wish them good luck for the next time, of course. The first Certificate of Merit in the Challengers category goes to Ramki Enviro Engineers Limited, Delhi. Well, kudos to the entire team on their effort on sustainability. The next Certificate of Merit in the Challengers category goes to TERI API India Private Limited, Gajraula. Congratulations to the team of TERI API India Private Limited, Gajraula. Well, the next Certificate of Merit in the Challengers category is for Century Pulp and Paper, Lalkua. Congratulations to the team. Well, last company to receive the Certificate of Merit in the Challengers category is Numaligarh Refinery Limited, Assam. Once again, congratulations to all materials companies in the Challengers category. Wonderful, I'm delighted. Alright, as we move on the Challengers Award this evening, let's keep our fingers crossed to know the winners. To tell you more about who's coming next, this organization is a part of Vedanta Group, the only Indian metal company to have listed on Dow Jones Sustainability Index. Vedanta's framework comprising of 8 sustainability policies, 14 management standards and 21 technical standards. Encompassing all the elements of sustainability, the first of the 2 Challengers Award amongst the medium businesses and process sector goes to Pantnagar Metal Plant of Hindustan Zinc Limited. May I please invite Mr. Himanshu Chhabra, Operations Head, Pantnagar Metal Plant HZL, for his acceptance speech.
I would like to start by wishing the judges and all the viewers a very good evening. It is a matter of pride for me to receive this prestigious award from Frost & Sullivan on behalf of Hindustan Zinc Limited Pantnagar Metal Plant team. HZL is committed towards growth and development of its people. Safety and sustainability are one of the core values, and in line with the same, Pantnagar Metal Plant has undertaken various initiatives to drive sustainability and will continue to do so. Once again, I would like to thank Frost & Sullivan and team of auditors that come to assess us and give their valuable feedback. We would like to collaborate with Frost & Sullivan in future for such audits. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chabra, and congratulations to Pantnagar Metal Plant. Well, moving on to tell you more about this company that's coming in next. This unit has a well-rounded approach to sustainability, encompassing areas like energy conservation, water recycling, socio-economic development of the communities around the plant, and empowerment of employees. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together in congratulating UPL Limited Unit 4 Halol. They have received the second Challenger Award amongst the medium businesses and process sector category. Now may I please invite Mr. Binoy Parekh, Unit Head UPL Unit 4 Halol, to please kindly say a few words. Over to you, Mr. Parekh.
Good evening, everyone. It is a great moment for me standing here. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. I am Binoy Parekh from UPL Halol for accepting the award of Sustainability Challenger Award. It is a really proud moment for me on behalf of my team, a great sustainable team rather, I will say, which has make this moment for me to take an award on their behalf. And a special thanks to Frost & Sullivan team for conducting this audit in such a COVID-19 period and moving ahead, which will help us a lot to grow from a small industry to a large industry, because sustainability is an important aspect rather in today's and tomorrow world. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Mr. Parekh, and congratulations once again to UPL Unit 4 Halol. Now, we are moving over to the Challengers Award in the large business category. This facility is one of the largest integrated textile facilities in India. It has implemented numerous water-saving projects to achieve 45% of reduction in fresh water consumption. The first award under Challengers category amongst large businesses and process sector goes to Vardhaman Fabric, a unit of Vardhaman Textile Limited, Budni. A very huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Now, may I please invite Ms. Suchita Oswal Jain, the Vice Chairman and Joint Managing Director, Vardhaman Fabrics, to please come forward and share her experience. Over to you, Mrs. Suchita.
It is my pleasure accepting the Challengers Award for Sustainability under the Large Business Process Sector category. I would like to thank Frost & Sullivan and TERI for conferring this honor. Sustainability ethos as also leadership is integral to Vardhaman's DNA. For us, it is an ongoing journey towards holistic excellence. Textile industry globally has a large financial, environmental and social footprint. And as a progressively responsible organization, Vardhaman is committed to augmenting the positive impact of textiles while curtailing the negatives. Winning this award in our first attempt furthermore strengthens our belief in our endeavors and approach to sustainable development. This achievement is the result of passion, dedication, and missionary zeal of our team to accomplish the goals set out. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Ms. Jain, and congratulations once again to Vardhaman Fabrics and team. Moving forward, this plant has always emphasized on minimizing waste generation at source itself, and to achieve this, manufacturing processes are continuously upgraded with cleaner production practices. The second and the final Challengers Award in the large business and the process sector goes to UPL Limited Unit 4 Vapi. I would like to request Mr. Shantanu Ashokrao Kulkarni, Unit Head, UPL Limited, Unit 0, Vapi, to accept the award. Over to you, Mr. Shantanu.
Good evening. This gives me a great pleasure to accept the Challengers Award 2020 in the category of large business and process sector through Frost & Sullivan and TERI Sustainability 4.0 Awards. This award is important to us because such kind of awards and events energize us and gives a new boost in our sustainability path. I consider this opportunity to express my sincere thanks and appreciation towards the management of UPL and leadership team for their sustainability drive. I must congratulate and express my sincere thanks to UPL Vapi unit team for their contribution in making this successful drive. Lastly, I express my sincere thanks to F&S and TERI team for giving us this opportunity and encouraging us through this event. Thanking you.
So thank you, Mr. Shantanu, and congratulations to the entire team of UPL Unit 0, Vapi. Well, let's move on to the Challenges Award in the Mega Large Business category now. The cost of production of this unit is amongst the lowest 5 percentile amongst global alumina refineries. The unit has successfully implemented red mud filtration technology to increase the life of existing red mud pond. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the first Challenger Award in the Mega Large Business category, and it goes to Utkal Lumina International Limited, Raigada. May I please invite Mr. Nagesh, Unit Head and President, Utkal Alumina International Limited, Raigada, to please come forward and say a few words. Over to you, Mr. Nagesh.
Today, guest of honors, colleagues from industry fraternity, ladies and gentlemen. We are extremely happy and excited to receive this coveted Challengers Award in this version of Sustainability 4.0 Awards 2020. My heartfelt thanks to the team of Frost & Sullivan and TERI for their commitment and guidance for bringing best practices in business. Global pandemic of such nature once again reminds us the importance of sustainability. Utkal Alumina International Limited is a state-of-the-art alumina refinery, global in size and technology. We operate this world-class facility in a remote part of Odisha in Raigada district. Our team is dedicated and contributing immensely in the manufacturing excellence as well as changing lives of people in and around us. I would also like to thank the Hindalco corporate team. I humbly accept this award on behalf of my entire team of Utkal Alumina. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nagesh. Thank you so very much. Once again, congratulations to Utkal Alumina International Limited, Raigada team. Moving on, this company has one of the largest waste heat recovery-based power plants in the cement industry globally. With use of fly ash, bed ash, synthetic gypsum and lead zinc slag, the alternative raw material consumption is pegged to 23.2%. The last and the final Challenger Award in the Mega Large Business for Process sector goes to Shree Cement Limited, Bewar. I would like to request Mr. P.N. Changani, Whole-Time Director, Shree Cement Limited, to please say a few words. Over to you, Mr. Changani.
Good evening, everybody. To begin with, our sincere appreciations to organizers, that is Frost & Sullivan and TERI, for organizing such a prestigious award ceremony and the process in the challenging times. As we all are aware, the sustainability is a core value for the business success. At Shree, we are working on many sustainability aspects, including The CSR activities, use of green energy, use of alternate energy, risk management, the upgradation of skill and knowledge of our employees, and so on. The list is very long. As we all know, the Shree has been the first company to publish a sustainability report. At the outset, we thank and congratulate all the winners, and we are humbled that we have been shortlisted for this prestigious award. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Changani, and congratulations once again to Shree Cement Limited, Bewar. Moving on to the next category of awards to be announced is the Leaders category, and we are just one step away from announcing the Sustainable Corporate and the Sustainable Factory of the Year award recipients. Sustainability is a deep-rooted in the culture and the ethos of the company, which is effectively ingrained and has cascaded to all its operations. The involvement of the employees in driving sustainability initiatives at this facility is remarkable. The only leader awards among medium businesses and FMCG sector goes to Hindustan Coca-Cola Beverages Private Limited, Siliguri. Please put your hands together as we welcome Mr. Krishna Gopal Mandal, Unit Head, HCCB Siliguri Plant, to please come forward and say a few words. Over to you, Mr. Krishna Gopal Mandal.
Good evening to all. I am really honored and humbled on behalf of Hindustan Coca-Cola Beverages Private Limited to accept this award. This is not only an award for us, it is a good learning platform, and I am sure my team has also learned a lot. I personally learned a lot, and thanks a lot to Frost & Sullivan and TERI, such a good platform to show that our whatever things we have did for this organization, it has gone in very well, and we got this leadership award. Thanks one more, TERI and Frost & Sullivan.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Mandal, and congratulations once again to HCCB Siliguri Plant. Well, next we are moving on to the Leaders Award in the Large Business category. The next plant coming to receive the award is the first zero liquid discharge agrochemical unit in India. The plant has an extensive focus on energy efficiency and has achieved 50% reduction in specific power consumption over the last 3 years. The first Leaders Award among the large business in the process sector goes to UPL Limited, Unit 2, Ankleshwar. Put your hands together as we invite Mr. Subodh Namjoshi, the Head Active Ingredients Manufacturing Vice President, UPL Limited, to share his views. Over to you, Mr. Subodh Namjoshi.
Hi, this is Subodh Namjoshi, Head of AI Manufacturing at UPL. UPL is world's leading agrochemical business organization. It is indeed a proud moment for us to receive Sustainability 4.0 award in the large businesses and process sector. At UPL, we believe that the dynamic natural environment presents both opportunity and challenges to our business. We have developed strategies to ensure the resilience of our operations to current and upcoming environmental risks. We are constantly working to reduce our environmental footprints and find innovative product solutions which can benefit the society. We are putting enormous resources in field of water conservation, energy conservation, waste management, and infusing new technologies to improve operational efficiency. I am indeed thankful to F&S team for partnering and recognizing AI manufacturing sites at such a wonderful and glorious platform. I am sure our joint efforts will carve benchmark for the world. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Namjoshi, and once again, congratulations to UPL Limited, Unit 2, Ankleshwar. Moving on to the next award, this company has achieved 30% reduction in GHG emissions and 40% reduction in specific water consumption in just 2 years. To drive sustainability amongst suppliers, it has joined hands with leading chemical companies globally through a unique platform Together for Sustainability. The winner of the second and the final leader award amongst the large business in the process sector is Henkel Adhesive Technologies India Private Limited. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together in welcoming Mr. Shilip Kumar, President, Henkel India.
I would like to thank the jury of Frost & Sullivan and TERI Sustainability Awards 4.0 for bestowing on Henkel the Leaders Award under the category of Large Business Process Sector. I humbly accept this award on behalf of all my colleagues at Henkel. Sustainability is a core value at Henkel, and each one of our employees is a sustainability ambassador. We constantly strive to improve our performance in this extremely important area. And I must say that the assessment procedure as well as the insights provided by the jury help us significantly in this endeavor. We will continue to strive to improve our performance even further and achieve the benchmark status. I would also like to take this opportunity to congratulate all the other winners this evening. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Shilip Kumar, and congratulations to Henkel India team. Let's move on to the last set of leaders award in the Mega Large Business category. We have 4 winners under this award category. The first one, India's youngest Maharatna Public Enterprise. This organization has been proactively taking various sustainability initiatives in the area of energy efficiency, water, GHG, waste reduction, green building, water bodies, amongst others. The winner of the first leader award amongst the Mega Large Business in the process sector is GAIL India Limited. Please put your hands together in welcoming Mr. Manoj Jain, Chairman and Managing Director, GAIL India, on screen. Over to you, Mr. Jain.
I'm extremely happy and honored to have been accorded with Leaders Award this year by Frost & Sullivan and TERI Award jury. The award is essentially a result of eco-conscious development GAIL has been pursuing for the past 36 years since its inception. All GAIL sites are testimony to this clean and sustainable development model. GAIL has actively advocated with all the stakeholders, the government and the policy makers for a way forward to enhance the share of natural gas in the energy mix in a manner that the action plans remain sustainable for clean energy growth. GAIL has taken up various innovative and mandatory environment projects across all sites for the past few years. We understand that carbon emission is key to raising the environmental pollution level, and natural gas can play a big role in bringing a substantial change when used judiciously in key sectors like industries, transport, and the commercial uses. To create awareness for clean air, we have undertaken with great intensity Hawa Badlo campaign, which is a communication drive in the country, and its success rate has given a happy credence of the fact that our next generation is becoming amply conscious about it. At GAIL, a good number of CSR projects across the country have brought about a difference in lives of many. It gives us immense satisfaction. Frost & Sullivan and TERI Award assessment was an in-depth and comprehensive assessment, and I congratulate the organization for having come up with this holistic award methodology. It was indeed a learning experience for GAIL. Our best wishes to TERI and Frost & Sullivan team in their endeavor to drive and inspire the sustainability journey in India to greater heights. Thank you and all the best. Extremely happy and honored to have been accorded with Leaders Award this year by Frost &
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Jain, and congratulations once again to GAIL India team. The next one, this company's sustainability strategy is aligned to enhance the economic prosperity of farmers. This company is amongst the few agrochemical companies in the country to have published the sustainability report based on GRI G4 guidelines. The next Leaders Award, Mega Large Business Process Sector, goes to UPL Limited, Unit 1, Ankleshwar. Let's put your hands together once again for Mr. Vinod Singh, Unit Head, UPL Limited, Unit 1, Ankleshwar, to please kindly acknowledge the award. Over to you, Mr. Singh.
First and foremost, I would like to thank God for His never-ending grace. To be considered for a leadership award by Frost & Sullivan and TERI is a great honor and privilege. I thanks to my UPL 1 team and management. By those vision, this journey is stated by keeping our values. Always human, nothing is impossible, win, 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 one team, one focus, agile, keep it simple, make it fun. We must continue to work for further improvements to make our planet more green and beautiful. Technology is a nation's precious heritage. For it, in our works of manufacturing, that we reveal to ourselves and to others the inner vision which guides us as an organization, as a nation. And where there is no vision, the people perish. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Vinod, and congratulations to UPL Limited, Unit 1, Ankleshwar. Okay, let's move to the next award. Being in the oil exploration business, the organization's manufacturing operations are quite complex, yet sustainable. It deploys environmentally friendly technologies and process consumables. The winner of the Leaders Award amongst the mega large business in the process sector goes to Vedanta Limited, Cane Oil and Gas Division. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together as we welcome on screen Mr. Oscar Quirento, Chief Operating Officer, Cane Oil and Gas Division, for his award acceptance speak. Over to you.
At Kern Vedanta, we produce oil and gas made in India for the people and by the people. That's simple. And we aim for zero harm, zero waste, and zero discharge by doing things right the first time. And also by empowering everyone in the organization and our business partners to leverage innovation and digitalization. We are proud today to be selected for this prestigious award, Frost & Sullivan Sustainability 4.0 Award, which consider areas such as risk management, sustainability strategy, health and safety, waste and emissions for our Rajasthan assets. On behalf of thousands of people working in the field deserving this award, I just want to say thank you, because they work hard, they have a strong dedication, and above all, they have a winning spirit. Thank you again on behalf of Kern Vedanta.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Quintero. Congratulations to Vedanta Limited, Cane Oil and Gas Division. Moving over to the final Leaders Award of this evening. The leader in the digital power business process. As an architect of lean digital enterprise, this company passionately serves hundreds of clients globally, including the first Fortune Global 500 companies as well. The Leaders Award, Mega Large Business Service Sector, goes to Genpact India Private Limited. May I now request Ms. Vidya Srinivasan, Senior VP Infrastructure and Logistic Information Security and Enterprise Risk, to please come on the screen and say a few words. Over to you, please.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Genpact, it's an honor to accept the Sustainability Leaders Award in the Mega Large Business Service category. We've been participating in this award for several years, and each time there is a new learning for us. Thank you, Frost & Sullivan and TERI, for considering us and for educating us in the process. We've had a large group of cross-functional teams that work to make this possible for us. And so a huge thank you to them. And we hope in the coming years, we continue to raise the bar on sustainability and make it a prime business focus for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Vidya Srinivasan. Congratulations to Genpact India team. Well, moving on to the last award segment, which is creme de la creme of this evening. There are 3 Apex Awards of the year. The first Apex Award is to the company that sources 90% of its raw materials through the backward integration process and the rest 10% from the responsible sourcing program. With initiatives like integrated watershed management, climate smart agriculture, the company is championing the cause of water stewardship in the community. And the winner of 2020 Sustainable Factory of the Year Award goes to ITC Limited, Bengaluru. May I now please call upon Mr. Jai Prakash Nair, Branch Manager at ITC Limited, Bengaluru, to please come forward and give his speech of acceptance. Over to you, Mr. Nair.
A very good evening to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. It's a privilege and honor for me to accept this prestigious award on behalf of ITC. First of all, I would like to thank Frost & Sullivan and TERI for bestowing this award on our unit in Bengaluru. I would also like to compliment them for designing such a well-structured and comprehensive process for Sustainability 4.0 awards. The participation in this process truly helped us to understand our position vis-a-vis other organizations and to identify further opportunities for improvement for us in the area of sustainability. ITC follows a triple bottom line approach, and sustainability is an integral part of our operations. As some of you may be already knowing, ITC is the only organization in the world of its size which is carbon positive, water positive, and solid waste recycling positive for many, many years now. This was the second time our Bengaluru unit challenging this award, and I'm happy to say that the unit could improve its performance considerably over last time. And I'm sure in coming years, we will further improve our performance in this area. Once again, I would like to thank Frost & Sullivan and TERI for bestowing this prestigious award on us. Thank you all very much.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Nair, and once again, congratulations to ITC Bengaluru unit. Ladies and gentlemen, let us rise as they do deserve a standing ovation. Well, it's time for the penultimate Apex Award for the evening. This company is guided by its purpose to empower people to snack right for the right movement, made the right way. Use of sustainable ingredients, reduction of environmental impact across supply chain, migration of recyclable packaging materials with portion control options are the key highlights of the company's sustainability initiatives. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us please give them a very huge round of applause and a standing ovation as they are the first runner-up. And the company is Mondelez India Food Private Limited. May I please request Mr. Nandakumar Kulkarni, Director, Integrated Supply Chain, Mondelez India Food Private Limited, to please say a few words. Over to you, Mr. Kulkarni.
Good evening. It is great pleasure and privilege to accept prestigious runner-up award of Sustainable Corporate of the Year on behalf of all my team members. We at Mondelez India are working systematically and passionately to improve the overall sustainability performance and create a positive impact on society. We have made a significant progress and are confident that journey will continue ahead. Over the years, we have taken several pioneering initiatives on sustainability across the organization, and such recognitions motivate us to do even more and better. I also want to thank Frost & Sullivan team for driving this program so well and not only recognize the good work but create a platform to share and learn best practices across the industries. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Kulkarni, and kudos to Mondelez India team for their achievement. Now is the time, the highest award of the evening, aptly going to the highest scorer of Sustainability 4.0. Let me introduce this company. The company has the largest off-gas cracker complex in the world, with highest process complexity and one of the most efficient producers of polymer globally, promoting usage of sustainable fabrics made from recycled post-consumer waste PET bottles by engaging underprivileged bottom of the pyramid communities in waste to wealth creation by the organization has helped in increasing the country's recycling potential. Now is the time. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in celebrating this year's Apex Awards Sustainable Corporate of the Year Award with a standing ovation to Reliance Industries Limited. May I please invite Rakesh Agarwal, Vice President, Reliance Industries Limited, to please come forward and address the gathering.
A big thank you to Frost & Sullivan for recognizing us with Sustainability Award 4.0. In fact, the overall experience with Frost & Sullivan has been very enriching. Enriching in the sense that we collated all information that was required to be submitted for the application, and it all aggregated, crossed over more than 1,000 pages, followed by visit from your side of very 5 senior executives who visited us virtually and interviewed more than 40 executives, aggregating to more than 50 hours, followed by a detailed feedback, which allowed us to think, which encouraged us to think a lot more than ever before. In fact, it has been very much enriching. The award for us is also a reflection of our sustained competitive advantage backed by integrated thinking in line with sustainability development goals set by United Nations. We are truly humbled. A big thank you to all the stakeholders and well-wishers who enabled us to make it happen. In fact, now we are feeling much more responsible than ever before, much more committed than ever before towards cleaner air, cleaner water, cleaner soil. Our chairman has, in fact, committed net zero carbon emission by year 2035 for a better planet. A big thank you to Frost & Sullivan for setting the high standards and continuously increasing the standards year after year for a better planet. Thank you, Frost & Sullivan.
The Resource Institute and the Executive Committee of Sustainability 4.0 Awards congratulates all the winners once again. Before we start rolling back, all right, they deserve a round of applause, of course. And before they start rolling back the carpet, I would now request a wonderful personality who's far more younger and much more charmer than I am standing today here. Ladies and gentlemen, I request Mr. Arup Zuchi, the Global President and Managing Director, Frost & Sullivan, to give a vote of thanks. Over to you, Mr. Arup.
Thank you, Karan. Thank you for introducing me. Hello, everyone. Good morning from Silicon Valley, California. I hope all of you are doing well and your families are safe as well. I'd like to start by congratulating all the award winners today. I must say, I'm incredibly inspired to see the effort made by all of you in integrating both environmental and social compliance into their business decision. I would also like to thank and congratulate the winners today because you have helped lead this whole effort of sustainability and have shown us that this is possible, where you can bring both sustainable strategies and business strategy together, and this can both coexist. I would also like to encourage all the award winners today to celebrate this success with their customers, their employees, because you know how much time and effort it takes for the employees to work together in order for you to achieve this level of excellence. I would also encourage you to celebrate this success with your partners, with your board members, and more importantly, your families who have made, I believe, incredible sacrifice as you leaders have been able to perform at the best practices level. I would also like to thank our partner TERI for their continued support and collaboration. I must say we cherish this partnership and we hope to continue that in the years to come. I would like to thank all the people who have joined us today from various parts of the world. I know this is a new normal for all of us doing these virtual events. I hope to see and meet all of you in person next year. I hope this is all behind us, and I want to make sure that we all celebrate this together in 3 dimensions, as I like to call it. Finally, I want to thank my team at Frost & Sullivan that despite this challenging year was able to work with TERI to put this program together and identify the best-in-class companies who have taken a tremendous lead and really had a massive impact on our planet and will see even more impact in the future. So with that, thank you very much, everybody. I wish you all the very best. Please be safe, and we look forward to seeing all of you next year again. Thank you and best wishes.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Arup. Thank you so very much. And not to forget to thank our media partners, Auto Components India, Car India Commercial Vehicle Construction Architect Update, e-Cargo Logo, Energetica India, Motoring Trends, Sustainability Next, Tire Trends, and the CEO Magazine. Ladies and gentlemen, for the final time, congratulations to all our award winners this evening. And I am already feeling so awesome imagining your happy faces carrying those rewards back home. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being a part of this grand journey. With this, we bring the curtains down. I want to thank you all for joining us for the 2020 editions of Frost & Sullivan and the Energy and Resources Institute Sustainability 4.0 Virtual Awards Ceremony Presentation. We hope to see you real very soon in the near future. My name is Karan Kapoor signing off from this presentation, and I wish you a great weekend ahead. Thank you.